afternoon we launch this important piece of infrastructure here in the parish of Portland.
We don't need to go back in time to discuss the fact that we're known as a forgotten parish. Anytime that there is work that is in Portland, yes, there is more people that are looking for jobs than there is work. I am member of parliament, and I am member of parliament for all, not one set of people. Since there's not enough jobs, there is going to be rotation. And that rotation instruction is coming from me, not coming from the Chinese or NWA or anybody else. So those people who are creating mischief and playing politics, I am appealing to them. If you are representing the opposition party in this constituency, protocol would dictate that you introduce yourself to me, because I can't work with somebody that I don't know. I'm giving a charge to everybody here and everybody who is not here. These Chinese foreigners are our guests. They are here to improve and help build the infrastructure in this parish. Therefore, I'm charging each and every one of you the responsibility to take care of them as they were ours. Take care of them as they would be as Jamaicans, and welcome them with open arms into every nook and cranny of Portland, so that while they are working, they can enjoy the beauty and the paradise of this beautiful parish.
In true Jamaican style, I assure you that it will soon be Rio Grande, no problem. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.
What you see behind you on the picture is what the bridge will look like when it's completed. Okay? A major improvement to what was. I just want to say to all parties concerned that this work is work, and whatever the work will not be paid as certified for payment unless the work is done to the high standard that is required by both the National Works Agency and China Harbour. Don't argue with the contractor, because if we do not certify the work for payment, you will not get paid. So do the work properly one time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I cannot be accused of being political. The carpet is red. Mayor, Councillor Floyd Patterson, my colleague, Member of Parliament and Minister of Information, Mr. Daryl Vaz, Reverend Sedley Gooden, Mr. Wong, CEO of the NWA, Mr. Zedong Tang, General Manager, China Harbour, and Mr. Peter Jarvis, who is the Road Maintenance Fund Chairman and who has to make sure we pay back this loan. Would you recognize yourself so that we know who we go for if they miss any payments? You know? Other distinguished members on the platform, and I've left that for Councillor Dexter Rowland, longest serving councillor, good politician. But my God, why do you have to open up politics to a man like me? North Coast Highway employed close to 2,000 people on the books. I'm still trying to solve some of the technical problems for collapsing roads along the way. And I'm still negotiating with Peel, and I want the media to be clear. I'm still negotiating with Peel to find in the budget what indeed was handing over to me, Councillor, a claim from Peel for 10 billion Jamaican dollars overrun. Don't know where I'm going to find it in the program. But as I keep saying to you and my colleagues, caretakers all, friends, comrades, labor rights, everyone, I work on 1357. One, I analyze what I get. Two, I look at what I must improve on. And good governance means you don't cancel anything, you improve on it if it's in the interest of the people. Three, I begin to stamp the imprimatur of the Jamaica Labour Party government under the Honorable Bruce Golding. 4, you begin to see it bloom, as you will start today. 5, you vote for me again, I continue into 7, 10, 12, and 15. And I've been saying this all over the country, so I have no need for us to deal with anything else than the people's interest in the people's program, in the people's planning. Because, Father, I heard you very carefully, and it is the voice of God. To a politician, the voice of God and the voice of the people is one and the same, and the voice of the people said, build, and we are building. So we're building a bridge, which 18 months from now will look like that, because that is what the bridge is going to look like. I'm dealing with a company, and I'm dealing with the 1357, not to stretch the people's money to fool the people to think I'm doing something, but to build it for 50 years and on from now. That leads to the economic development of the country beyond merely patching and leaving, but continuing to develop into the future. And sometimes I have to depart from my script because, you see, we forget the country we have been and we are. We tend to forget we built the empire of Great Britain through our sugar and our bananas. We forgot bananas was called green gold. It was the richest product in the world. The ports were built because of the shipment of banana. The second oldest railway in the world, only a few years after James Watt invented the engine, was established here in Jamaica. It was established when the people over in New York and the other places didn't have electricity, when the Indians were still roaming the plains of New York. So, I'm very happy to be here in East Portland to launch this very important and long-awaited project. Happy because the people here have for quite some time been in need of this bridge that is to be constructed. They have suffered so many natural disasters which have affected the local infrastructure over recent years. As the new chairman of the Jamaica Labour Party, suddenly I'm accused, and the government is of motives being attached to my elevation to chairmanship. On one hand, it is being said, and I believe I only got a B+ as a performing minister Sunday. And behind the picture and a B+ was a line which said I didn't do enough in PNP constituencies. So be it. So that the media is saying that I intend to use my position in government and the party to feather the coffers of the GLP ahead of general elections due in 2012. Let me remind them it could be in 2013, so, you know. It is said that I've been doing little to help in some areas. Let me try and correct some of that. Because indeed, today is a manifestation of what you have to do with a vision looking ahead. Because today we have the Chinese from the east coming here to connect us to the west. And here I am standing on the eastern side or the western side to connect each side of Portland and each side of the country. I could go on to say that we inherited Counselor, a bridge that the water washed away at Harbour View. We're building a 4-lane bridge right now after we built one in 48 hours, and that will be completed half of this year. So that basically as we join east to west, we are joining one side which is JLP with one side that is PNP. Therefore, we are joining Jamaicans together to work in the interest of Jamaica. And if indeed the media is interested in these areas, I hope all the members of the media here today will make it a point of duty to inquire from the NWA just how much the infrastructure has been undertaken in the parish of Portland over the last years. And I believe that would put to rest the political propaganda that is sometimes being exposed. So all I'm asking is to check the facts, because as I stand here, Friday on the other side of the bridge is all but 90%, 80% complete. It was the first program started back under this program to connect work spent before. And I believe that that area is certainly not on the side of the government. Just before I came here, I called the opposition leader to seek to identify the caretakers in this area, that I in fact could know who they are. And I see that we have Dr. Bloomfield here. But sometimes I'm not sure which caretaker is taking over from which PNP outgoing person. Let me not go into that. But I welcome Dr. Bloomfield. My mandate as Works Minister is to seek to improve and maintain the national infrastructure of Jamaica, whether it be in West Portland, East Portland, or Central Clarendon, as the needs must be registered on behalf of all the people. And therefore, on the national radar of the National Works Agency, there is only one that appears. I inherited a great deal of neglect of the infrastructure. That infrastructure, let me emphasize, because many people think 400 million is so much money. But if you have $2 billion worth of damage to a country, 400 million can only take you so far. What I've said with this program and what the Prime Minister instructed me to do, don't start something and then 5 years from now, I hear we have to come back to try and repair what we did. Therefore, this bridge is to outlast me. And believe me, I'm going to be around for a very long time. So I hope that all of this will be the early beginning of how we raise the stature and the development of the infrastructure of the country. For indeed, as I hinted earlier, I don't think I made it to a chairman of the party without a history of service. And therefore, I do get a little bit mad when you all tend to leave out the fact that I was for 10 years a deputy leader, and I was the last nationally elected deputy leader by the party. And I say that for those who wish to make mischief, rather than let us get down to the job we have to do of rebuilding the country and the future. Not for me, not for 70% of this community here, but for the little children who earlier sang, who must begin to see a different vision, a different light, and a different hope. It should be noted that the permanent damage occurred to the structure of the old Rio Grande Bridge in July 2005, some 2 years before I took over the office as Minister of Transport, during the passage of Hurricane Dennis. 6 years later, again bear in mind my 1357, 3 years, just about 3.5 years now, into a JLP stewardship, construction of this new bridge is scheduled to begin this month, and the completion date is 18 months from now at a cost of $26 million US. It is very important to note that the Rio Grande Bridge will be one of the longest bridges in Jamaica. Hence, it is a major undertaking of the government in its thrust to bring about improvements to the lives of the people all around and foster the necessary infrastructure to drive both national and community development. But it has one other benefit for me. It will take Daryl Vaz off my back morning, noon, and night. It will enhance my lifestyle with my wife because I don't want to be woken up at 7:30 in the morning. That's my time for my... So basically... And suffice it to say, at my age, disturbance creates a whole different set of problems. But I want us to pay tribute to the Member of Parliament who, as he said, is Mr. Portland. I guess if he serves long enough like me, I am Mr. Clarendon, right? So I have the larger parish with more MPs and more things. But he might replace me one day at the right time. But let me honestly pay respect to him. He has never, ever not come to me about the totality of the parish, as against many who would only come about the constituency or the division. So, Daryl, praise the Lord. Pass the ammunition. But there's much more that needs to be done to remedy some of the infrastructure in Portland. but must be appreciated that this is the rest of the country to attend to. Hence, I crave the patience of the people of Portland. Hence, I refer to the fact, just as I did of some historical facts. Are we really not aware that the Rio Grande Valley has the second highest rainfall in the world? Think, those who go to geography think of monsoon climate, thinks of wetlands and area. Rio Grande Valley has the second highest rainfall in the world. Add to that the fact that Jamaica is the most heavily eroded country in the world next to Japan in terms of per capita. Add to that the free villages that were created by the plantocracy that forced many of us to go and capture land. Means that every piece of land you capture and you create a road, I man have to come along and see how I can improve that. But very important for me to note are the jobs which the project will bring to the community. Something which is happening in many other areas of the country on both large and small projects that are emerging under the JDIP. Let me pause to thank the People's Republic of China for them to react to our request to use the fuel cess, to not wait the 20 years of 120 million every month, but concertina that in a loan program at 3% interest, and be able to allow us to work on interior bridges and roads like here. Because today's world of bridges and connections of roads demands a whole new demand from multilateral agencies. They now talk about noise abatement, which means if you build a road near to a housing scheme, you're supposed to build a sound barrier. Can you imagine in Jamaica with sound system, I might have to go build sound barrier now for car passing. But if not, they don't lend you the money. So there's a whole new set of it, and therefore for us to be able to move this program into the people's roads, off of the highways that we talked about now, into the roads and connectivity of the people, is I think one that we wish to thank the Exim Bank of China, China Harbour, which is the 7th largest engineering company in the world. And therefore the reality that in the past we might have said, let's patch up the bridge with $5 million. Let's go ahead and leave something else and spend another $2 million and say to someone, we're doing this for you, we're doing that for you, near to election, then it collapses and nothing happens. I want this program to be remembered as the best instituted program in Jamaica, and one that is meant to last well beyond 3 generations, so that we can build a country not of promise but of fulfillment. So let us ensure that the projects here on the Rio Grande Bridge are smoothly implemented without any hitches on the sites. Your Member of Parliament has spoken to you about the fact, and which is really what drives this program. This is not a program for JLP or PNP. This is a program for the people of Jamaica, developing Jamaica, reinstituting Jamaica in its rightful place of not in decline, but in growth and in continuity of development. I therefore am well happy to be here. As I leave you, I head to open the Boscobel Airdrome, which will be the 3rd port of entry in Jamaica for private jets coming in. It will not be every jet landing and taking off, but we are opening up Jamaica to the world. We are saying that how nice it would be for you to arrive at Montego Bay or Kingston and decide that, well, you want to take a small plane and land at Boscobel and you get here in 1 hour. All the programs of development will be interconnected, interrelated on the multimodal plan of development. We launched the programs across the country. We said what we were doing. We're now beginning to implement. And I think Works Agency told you, all the roads that were scheduled and announced when we met at another part of Portland will start in the next 10 days and will begin to be built. Wait your turn. It's a 6-year program. After you have voted for me and given me the 5th term or the 6th term, then you will see that you and I can relax here now and enjoy life. Thank you very much. I have pleasure in being here with you this evening.
Thank you very much, Minister Henry. We're moving along. I'm going to now invite Councillor Floyd Patterson, Mayor of Port.
Could have been chosen for the venue for this occasion. Quite rightly so, in light of the fact that this development will be taking place here. I think it is prudent that this be the venue. Portland is now becoming the area under the spotlight. As for having stand up to make sure that this location be chosen, and also I want to, before I get into the bigger details, to say a special thanks to the Norwich Primary School for having taken time out of their busy schedule to entertain us while we were sitting here waiting. The old school for having sent one of Portland's finest to entertain us this afternoon. And to remind us, especially for the younger people amongst our group, that we should not, we cannot. This is 2011 and we must come to reality and move forward. I want to say a special thanks to for high standard and quality work. It has been emphasized that if you don't work, you will not get paid. If you don't do proper work, you special thanks to Mr. Tang for forging and keeping this partnership with Jamaica, China, Portland. In Jamaica, sir, we are all one people. Out of many, we are one. It will not be very hard for us to work with and entertain and be comfortable having your team here. The fact that I can be one of your councillors, sir, so that I can serve under your regime. You're a no-nonsense man. You're a man of action. You want to get things done and done right now. This is, we cannot continue to procrastinate. You're a man of action, and I want to implore each and every one who are gathered, my minister is about. But most of all, the evening belongs to Minister Mike Henry. Sir, and rather than waiting on the gases to have gone ahead to say we are going to partner with the China Exim Bank and the China and justice is our everlasting song. And in this, I understand clearly what you're saying, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be Portland will only entertain the best. Portland will only entertain quality behavior. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming this afternoon. I want to thank you for sharing in this vision. I want to thank you for understanding and seeing that it's not just a vision, but it is a reality.
And I want to thank you.
There you go, Mr. Henry. All right. All right. Now you're breaking it. All right. That's good enough. That's good enough. That's good enough.
But me. No, so this man must give you a while ago.
Roger, this is.
Right above the railway.